Yo, what up, guys? Today I wanted to talk about why young men are giving up on society and why no one cares. So, I am a young man myself. I am 23 years old. So, I'm a Zoomer. A lot of men my age or older are struggling with dating, getting a job, or finding purpose or meaning. There is a study by Pew Research that shows 63% of men ages 18 to 29 are single or have never approached a woman in real life, while only 34% of women ages 18 to 29 are single, which is a crazy number. I remember 2 years ago, I thought I was the only one going through this stuff, but after seeing this data, there are many guys out there who are in the same boat as me. Even when I meet guys my age, or meet people through family members or friends of friends, most of the men are single. A couple of them are in a relationship, but the majority of the people I meet are single. Back when I was working as a cashier for a liquor store, one of my coworkers who was a year older than me asked me if I was in a relationship or still dating. I told him that I have pretty much given up on dating. Even asking a woman out seems like a humiliation ritual. He was surprised and told me that he basically gave up. He told me he met a coworker back at his old job whom he regrets never asking out on a date. I told him he needs to get over it and move on. It's not good to look back at the past and think, what if I did something differently? So it's very common for people in my generation to be single in their early 20s, maybe even longer. I also talked to my boss from my bakery job who is single, and he is in his late 30s or early 40s, so he's a millennial. I honestly can't remember his age, but I'm pretty sure he was 39 when I first met him, to be honest. Anyways, he told me the same thing, that he gave up on dating after talking to 2 people. One of the women he was talking to wanted to have dinner for the first date, hence he ghosted her. The second woman also wanted to go out for dinner on the first date. My boss thought about it since the second girl was really hot. He ended up not going out with either of them. He told me it's not worth dating anymore. He said that dating was way easier back when he was a teenager in the early 2000s. When it comes to jobs, a lot of young men my age are unemployed. According to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, the unemployment rate for prime age working men was 3.4%. In August of 2024, this number primarily includes those who are unemployed and seeking work, but about 10.5% of men in their prime working years, or roughly 6.8 million men nationwide, are neither working or looking for an employment, compared with just 2.5% in 1954. There is a word circulating around the internet called NEET, which means not in education, employment, or training. What's funny is that I'm actually a NEET. All the bad decisions I made back in 2025 led me to where I am now. I quit my job because I had a panic attack driving home after a really shitty day at work. So I decided it was time to leave that place with a little dignity that I had left. I didn't believe people when they told me that the job market was really bad. Once I started applying to many jobs and putting myself out there, that is when I realized how bad things have gotten here in America. And not just my city, but America in general. Most of the jobs that do end up hiring you, they don't even pay you enough to make ends meet. So pretty much you're forced to look for another job, or you're pretty much forced to work 3 jobs just to make ends meet. And that's why so many people are struggling right now. A lot of the men my age don't even want to try anymore. I mean, can you blame these men for not giving a damn about the society when it seems that everyone is against young men in 2026? The mainstream media likes to blame young men for the declining birth rates, not having a job, being stay-at-home sons, or giving up on marriage. Fox News does not care about young men's issues. Every time the mainstream news talks about young men struggling and dating and getting a job, it is instead of asking the average man why this is happening, Fox News will bring in a podcaster or a blonde woman who got divorced in 2024, by the way, to talk about why young men are struggling. The people that Fox News brings to the show can't even relate to young men. Ruthless, a podcast I had never heard of before, is a right-wing podcast that went on Fox News and makes a lot of money. How these guys can relate to the average person in America, or the average young man in general, is my question. I just want to point out that these people that Fox News brings to talk about young men's issues can't even relate to the average man. You will never see Fox News or any of these other news media outlets blame young women for their crazy dating standards, or blame women for being stay-at-home daughters in 2026. I guarantee you some women out there are needs just like you and me. You just don't see that in the mainstream media cover any of that. Instead, they want to point the finger at young men for not stepping up. I mean, the women of today are worse than the women of the past. My mom has even asked me why I don't have a girlfriend or date women my age. I told her that women today have crazy expectations when it comes to being in a relationship, Not to mention how high of a body count most of these women have. And you know, times just change, you know? So it's not the same era as before. I'm sure there are good women out there, but I just haven't found any. So I decided to be on my own. My mom grew up during the 90s when I asked her how dating was back then. She told me that people were way more approachable than today. Also, many women didn't have these crazy expectations when it came to finding a partner. Maybe things will get better in the future, but I doubt it. I wanted to point out that I don't hate women, I just don't think it's fair to blame young men for all the issues that are going on in the United States when women are also part of the problem. So women expect men to make 100K a year, be 6 feet tall, have six-pack abs. Basically, women want Mr. Perfect. For those of you guys that don't know who Mr. Perfect is, he was a wrestler who was perfect on everything he did. Moving on, according to YouGov profiles across all age brackets, roughly 25% of men make six figures compared to 12% of women. Combining the filters puts individual men in this prime career age bracket at the 25% to 30% mark. This means that young women who want men who earn 100K a year will be competing for the same man. The funny thing is that men who make a lot of money don't even get into relationships or get married because they have so many options. They can be bachelors their whole lives. A perfect example of this is Leonardo DiCaprio. He can get any woman he wants without even trying. Young men ages 18 to 24, only about 1% to 7% make six figures, making this the rarest income bracket for young adults. This means that almost 90% of men are invisible to women since women want the top 10 or 20%. They are going to have fewer options. Women are delusional if they think that these men are going to want to be in a relationship with them. When I was in high school, I still remember people saying I made the wrong decision by not going to college. I was one of the few people who decided to work instead of going to college. I've been working since I was 14 and I hated school. So that's the decision that I made. Even college graduates are struggling to find an entry-level job in 2026. Back in the day, if you had a college degree, you had a slight advantage over people who only had a high school diploma. Now, according to an NBC article, young college graduate men are struggling even more than their male counterparts who only have a high school diploma. To quote the article, young men with bachelor's degrees are slightly more likely to be unemployed than young men with just a high school diploma, the analysis found. That's a recent reversal after decades when young men with bachelor degrees had an advantage in the labor market, economists said. Young women haven't experienced that same trend. They are significantly more likely to be employed if they have a bachelor's degree. Women make up the majority of entry-level hires, around 54%, outpacing their share in the overall workforce. According to Revelio Labs, young men in 2026 don't really have many options to choose from. That's why so many of them are just giving up on society. I remember seeing an article or video saying that young women are the future, which is complete bullshit, guys. Young men are the ones who keep the society running. If men were to stop working for 1 week, there would be havoc. Things are not gonna go the way you guys think they are. If young men stop working, I mean, think about it. You got guys who throw out the trash. You got electricians, you got plumbers, people who fix the water systems in the country. I mean, I can go on and on. The internet that you use, mostly young men work in that. IT, everything. I know there's going to be that one guy in the comments or that one girl saying he knows a woman who works manual labor, but those women are the exception. Not every woman wants to work dirty or manual jobs. That's the reason why so many young men risk their lives to work at these jobs, because they want to provide for their family, or they want to make a lot of money. But you will never see like a lot of women go and work at an oil field. You'll never see them work as a truck driver, a trailer. You just won't see that. It's not as common. Young men giving up is the result of society failing them. The mainstream media can blame young men all they want, but if things don't change, then America's gonna be just like Japan. The only way to fix this problem is to make young men in this country a priority. Give young men the opportunity to get jobs, start a family, and buy a house. If you give young men a reason to be rewarded for the hard work that they put into this country, maybe things will change for the better. So for all the young men out there who are struggling in life, just know that you guys are not alone. My recommendation to cope with all this stuff going on is to spread the word and tell people why we are giving up. I also recommend that young men pursue their hobbies or any passions or dreams that they have. I mean, at this point, we've got nothing to lose as young men, so we might as well chase our dreams or do whatever the fuck we want. I'm not going to tell you guys how to live your lives. I'm not your fucking dad. But what I am saying is just live your life the way you want. At the end of the day, it's your life. not everyone else's. As long as you're not hurting anybody, then you should be good. Want to see more people out there speak up on these type of topics? I think it's really important to discuss, how we can fix these issues that are going on in the country. If we keep ignoring these issues and don't find a solution to these problems, then things are just going to get worse before they get better. And honestly, I think that if we don't fix these problems right now, then there are going to be way more bigger problems in the near future and for the next generations that come after Gen Z. But what do you guys think? Do you agree or disagree with me? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you're a young man who's watching this video, have you given up on society? I would like to hear your story. I appreciate all the support you guys have given me recently. It means a lot. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out.
I didn't wish that I could just change my past. To think about you, Dad, there's so much shit that I could ask. Like, why am I still haunted by the day that you left? I wake up in the middle of the night with cold sweats. I can't believe this happened, can't believe you're gone. I should've known that when I woke that something went wrong. All the loud screams, me running down the stairs, and she was by your side and you were just laying there. I didn't know what to do, I tried to call the cops. I was trying so hard to fight back on my